I know when I started my journey, I had a ton of, I guess, roadblocks and challenges, and I also had a lot of small successes. I completely get that sometimes we can look at, and something that I had with a lot of my coaching clients is a lot of the stuff within the course, and there's a lot of information can easily become overwhelming, right? And I completely get that, and that's why it's extremely important just to purely focus on where you are at that time. So if you're in a position where you're just looking for a product, make sure you're actually just focusing on that particular thing, right? Don't go be looking at so many other things and marketing things and everything else that you need after and a lot after. You can kind of glimpse through it, but don't get so into that stuff, right? Just focus exactly where you're at. There's always a problem that needs to be solved when it comes to building a business, and especially an Amazon business. I think we all know that. And one of the best things that you can actually do is just take on one challenge at a time. I've kind of, at the conference in 2019, I kind of had a little talk. A few guys on here now that probably heard my talk, but I basically always say business is nothing more than a game of problem solving. You're always going to have this one challenge. And the reason why I say one challenge is because a lot of the times we tend to look at all the challenges at once, and it essentially cripples us. And then we're like, well, we can't do it. It's too hard. Of course, it's going to be too hard when we look at it like that. I've done that. I'm guilty of that all the time. I would look at something and see all the different problems that could arise, and they haven't really arisen yet. And now what I do is just look at one issue at a time. If you have a problem with picking a product, well, that's only the one thing that you need to address. Don't worry about anything else. If you have issue with funding your business, well, that's only one problem that you actually need to solve. If you have a problem with not making enough sales, just focus on that particular problem, and then find a solution for that. Okay, so make sure you write that down and jot that down and work on that. And that's kind of where I see a lot of the guys, and especially the guys I was coaching also. And that's kind of the great thing about the experience that I've had is I've done thousands of hours of coaching a lot of you guys from AOE, and I know the common issues and the common problems that a lot of people have. So for me, about getting into kind of AOE now is really about just addressing that with you guys, the challenges you've had, the wins you've had. And I believe that if we don't confront that, there's no way of us actually moving forward properly, and for all of you guys to have as much success as you guys want. We need to learn from people's mistakes. There are a lot of people here that have made mistakes. I've made mistakes. So we need to essentially see exactly what it is that we can do to actually resolve that. And there's a lot of us guys that have had success, and we need to learn from that too. It's always amazing when you hear other people's stories and see, essentially also the roadblocks and challenges that you've had, and also doing this around your family in terms of, just doing that and taking your time with it in for the long haul. And I think that's kind of the biggest thing here is kind of what we can learn from that is understanding and realizing that if you want a genuine business, if you want to build a brand, it is going to take some time. It doesn't always need to take time, but that's going to depend on your circumstances, your personal circumstances in terms of the finances that you have, the time that you have, the help that you have, right? So that's all going to determine how quickly you can possibly go with an actual business.
That was a video from my regular Monday night Q&A session with the members of the Aussie Online Entrepreneurs. We are a community of 2,500 members and growing. We're the fastest growing community of professional e-commerce sellers right here in Australia, with sales, by the way, of over $50 million. $50 million, holy crap. If you'd like to find out more about what we do and how we can help you build your own e-commerce business too, get off to www.aussieonlineentrepreneurs.com.au. The link for that is in the description. And thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.